I'm Gil Martin of Locked On NHL, and with me as we continue our coverage of the 2022 NHL Draft, Brandon Pillar of Locked On Ottawa Senators, and our prospects expert. And joining us now, Erica Ayala from the Seattle Kraken. And Erica, with the fourth pick, a surprise, Shane Wright available, and the Kraken take him. Your thoughts on this selection?
Yes, once I saw who the first pick was, I was a huge fan of Slavkovsky, talked about him on the Locked On Kraken show, was pretty confident he was not falling to 4. But then you started seeing other teams kind of take, I think, really looking at position. And I think that put the Seattle Kraken at 4 in a good position because we need everything. So it has been pretty clear that Ron Francis, our general manager, has wanted to take the best player available, and getting another centerman, another young centerman. We took Matty Beniers, obviously, with the number 2 pick last year, and he already has 10 games in the NHL for us. So I think that this makes a lot of sense, although it definitely was a little bit surprising.
No question about that. And yet here you are picking fourth, and you got a player who for most of the offseason, everyone thought was going to be the first overall pick.
Indeed. And, I know there were some articles saying why Shane Wright should be number 1. Slavkovsky was really talking his, Muhammad Ali mess. And I think that's what you want. I know some people were saying that's a demerit. I think it's that humble hockey mentality. I think, though, we're at a stage where some of these younger players are going to assert themselves and who they feel they are on the ice and be prepared to back that up. So I kind of liked the back and forth, but I heard Shane Wright on the live draft coverage from ESPN with Emily Kaplan. I think he said all of the right things. He seems to have knowledge of what the Seattle Kraken are looking to do. And this is a player that has performed well at the international level. I love to see that. Also someone who has taken on leadership. He has entered into elite hockey at a young age and petitioned even to do that. So I think this is a hockey player and someone that at a young age we can get. I like that he has good size. I think the only other thing I would have liked to see personally is to see the Seattle Kraken take a defenseman. But that being said, best available is Shane Wright at 4. I think absolutely Ronnie Francis did the right thing. And I like that he got up there, said the pick, and then it's like, all right, let's go to our other 11 picks.
Brandon, Shane Wright, obviously highly regarded by scouts. First of all, do you think he'll have a little chip on his shoulder after falling to 4?
I absolutely think he'll have a chip on his shoulder. This is a guy that was granted exceptional status to the OHL. That is quite an honor and not something to be taken lightly. He was the captain of his team in Kingston. He's a guy that for years, ever since he was 14, 15 years old, people are saying this is going to be the number 1 pick in 2022. And he's someone that really knows how to carry himself off ice as well. So for him to go to a young organization like the Seattle Kraken, and they can really be confident that he's going to be a big building block for them going forward, is such a great thing. Like, this is a slam dunk for the Seattle Kraken, as far as I'm concerned, to start an expansion team with Matty Beniers and Shane Wright as your 2 centermen. Those guys could be your number 1 and 2 centermen for the next decade, as far as I'm concerned. And that's an incredible way to build a team. And Ron Francis is no stranger to doing that. Shane Wright, he's a two-way centerman that can put up massive points. Like, he put up 94 points in the OHL this year. A lot of people compare his game to Mika Zibanejad. And if you see what Mika Zibanejad has been doing lately, that's got to get Kraken fans very excited. So, Erica, I'm kind of with you. I pictured them selecting one of the right-hand shot defensemen, but when Shane Wright falls to them, Ron Francis not wasting any time, getting up there, making the pick, and heading right back down, because that is the right pick. And Vegas has got to be sitting there being like, wow, they already have 2 great young centermen, and that's not an easy feat to do. So the Seattle Kraken made their team a lot better tonight, in my opinion.
Always good to build down the middle. That's the old cliche. What makes Shane Wright so special?
I would say just the fact that he's been doing this for a long time. Like, he's no stranger to having all the pressure on him. He's no stranger to taking on a leadership role. He's no stranger to saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to be a major factor defensively. I don't need to be pumping out highlight reel goals left, right, and center to get scouts' attention. They already know what I can do offensively. I'm going to really work on being a better two-way centerman. And that's what he's done. Like, I think maybe one more year in the OHL, just because they lost that year due to COVID. You might want to get a little more development out of him, and there's no rush for the Kraken to bring him in. But once he comes in, I think he's going to be a solid guy that transitions seamlessly into the pro levels at center position.